With over 20,000 criminal homicides each year, who decides if your loved one is deemed newsworthy? Survived in death by family, the fight for justice never ends until all those involved are placed behind bars. Join me as we shed lights on the atrocities of mankind. Welcome to Crimes Among Us. Barely alive is how the volunteer fire department describes the manner that they found 19-year-old Jessica Chambers, covered in burns, consuming 93% of her body, a Mississippi murder mystery that has yet to be solved. And with fingers pointing in so many directions, will a guilty suspect ever be found? He or she could be sitting there watching this very video beside you. Pay attention because your tip could finally bring justice for Jessica. Welcome to Crimes Among Us. Jessica Lane Chambers was said to have a smile that would light up a room. Known for being this blue-eyed, blonde-haired cheerleader that enjoyed playing softball in her spare time, her mom Lisa says she was a joy, but stubborn as a mule. She dreamed big, once wanting to be a book writer, a teacher, an educator, helping people in need, setting her goals on becoming a registered nurse. But when she turned 15 or 16, Jessica's rebellion streak surfaced. No one, including her mom that she stayed with, or her father that lived on the same street, could slow down Jessica. Her parents separated when she was 3 years old. At the age of 17, the scales tipped when Jessica's brother Alan lost his life in a wreck. This broke Jessica, losing a part of herself, finding herself hanging out with the wrong groups of people. And after Christmas of her senior year, she dropped out of school. June 2nd, 2014, Jessica receives a simple assault charge, and her dad says that he felt forced to take her vehicle. Consequently, a decision was made by summer of 2014 for Jessica to go to Leah's house. Leah's house was a Christian rehabilitation center for women. After spending over a month there, she comes home. 1 week later, she informs her family that she had been threatened and was scared for her life. She told her mom that these bitches think I'm snitching, but I'm not. She also told her dad that everyone thinks I'm a snitch because you work with the police. December 6, 2014, Jessica leaves home and goes back to the store. She comes back around 1 or 1:30, puts on some pajama pants and takes a nap. Sometime in between 4:45 and 5:15, she gets a call. She springs up saying she would be back. She was going to grab something to eat, get some gas, and clean out her car. She leaves. Her mom calls her phone and recalls the last thing that they talked about was that she would see her in a little bit. Cortland, Mississippi, 8:09 p.m. The volunteer fire department was called to a fire on Heron Road. They arrive on scene where they find a car next to a fence engulfed in flames. They describe a zombie-like figure walking out from the woods, coming across the road from the other side. Hair scorched, skin burned. Her face was black. She was beyond recognition, dressed only in her underwear bottoms. Everyone standing there was in shock. This was not just a fire anymore. It was an attempted murder, a crime scene Mississippi was ill prepared to handle. Help me, she said. Help me. Unbelievably, they were able to make out her words. Randy Davis, on scene first responder, asked, "Who did this to you?" She responded what he and so many others believed was Eric or Derek. She was asked several times, Eric did this. At approximately 8:30 p.m., Ben Chambers, Jessica's father, is notified by the sheriff's department. Ben sent Debbie, his wife, to Lisa's. She frantically pulls into the driveway screaming. They set Jessica on fire. Lisa said this can't be because she just got off the phone with her earlier. They rushed her to the hospital in Memphis. Jessica's older sister, Amanda, AJ Prince, who lived in El Paso, Texas, gets the call. At first, she thought it was minor, until she realized that they were headed to the ER. She drops to her knees in pain. She quickly sets up a Justice for Jessica page on Facebook to help out, and within 24 hours, it amassed over 150,000 followers. Everyone wanted to help solve Jessica's case. The community showed overwhelming support. Lisa, her mother, recalls she was afraid to peek into the hospital room. She didn't know what other people saw when they looked at her badly burned body wrapped in bandages, but she saw her child, Her baby, the only person who could make her happy, laying there helpless, transitioning. Her mom understood then. There was no way that she could keep Jessica here. She held her hand and told her, "It's okay. You can go." Jessica takes her final breath. 2 days after her murder, a special task force was set up to investigate her death, including the FBI, DEA, and ATF. Every Eric and Derek was questioned and interviewed in Cortland and the surrounding areas due to multiple witnesses hearing her repeat those names. But they just couldn't find anyone who matched, which left everyone on guard in Cortland. Some even toted firearms, fearing that they would be next. December the 12th, 2014, an $11,000 reward would be offered for information leading to her killer, but no one came forward. By January 2015, the amount had rose to $43,000 and later to $54,000. The pressure was on to find Jessica's killer, and everyone was a suspect. Ali Alsanai, who had the only gas station in Cortland at the time, revealed footage from the last day that she was seen alive at his M&M gas station, clearly showing Jessica walking into the station the night of her murder. Authorities reviewed this footage to identify anyone who had been there the day of her murder. George, Mr., aka Boone, would be identified in that gas station video. Someone who had already did 21 years in prison. He was last released in 2001. Question: he admitted to dating or fooling around with Jessica in the past. He said she would come over and stay at his house. She was a friend. Even seeing her on the day that she died. He alleges that she had a hand full of crystal M's and was trying to exchange it for some candy cane. Later, seeing her again on a back road that night, going towards her mom's place. However, George took a lie detector test and a DNA test. He passed. The spotlight now turned on Ali Asanai, the gas station owner. He was questioned. Maybe he harmed Jessica. The internet detectives found his personal accounts on social media, revealing some questionable photos of Ali toting large firearms. He was forced to leave town shortly after Jessica's death. A Jessica Chamber mystery page developed along with 5 to 6 others. These pages introduced different theories and rumors of the crime, sending social media into a frenzy, leading people to believe they could investigate her murder from home, sitting on the couch, better than the cops in Cortland. And people also felt that Jessica was no angel. They described her murder being tied to illegal substances and gangs in the area. Those same internet cowboys aimed their sight at her ex-boyfriend, Brian Rudd, saying that he killed her. Jessica's mom admits that they did have a volatile relationship. Now, there's Travis. Travis is who she dated after Brian Rudd, but he was behind bars when Jessica passed. Her mom explained that they were dating the last day that Jessica was alive. Her own father was named as a possible cause or contributor to her murder himself, which is weird because 43% of women in 2014 that were murdered by their family members. Ben Chambers worked as a mechanic for the sheriff's department at the time of her death. Theories would emerge that her father was allegedly tied to illegal meth with an E and having a legal substance conviction in 2004 for a meth with an E, possession, and the intent to manufacture. Ben did make it very vocal he does not believe in mixed relationships. It's how he was raised. But Jessica didn't see color, and it seemed that she had a thing for bad boys. Lisa, Jessica's mom, was constantly under scrutiny. She was called an addict. She was called a horrible mom, and it seemed like her family would never catch a break. The big accident. What if Jessica's death was a horrible car accident? She wrecked and the car got set on fire and it set the flames. John Champion, district attorney, explains no markings were on the fence or the car. It was completely burned with only metals left behind. Every witness on scene said there is no way that this was an accident. And it took 1 year for a suspect to finally evolve. But yet multiple people wanted credit for Jessica's death. A reporter got a call from a lady in Iowa saying that a guy was confessing to killing Jessica. Another man told his family in Mississippi that he killed her, but it turns out that he had a credible alibi for the time of her murder. Now, it is important to note that Ben Chambers, her father, thought originally a man named Roger Lynn Hintz killed her. Jessica's life was threatened during an argument over drugs, according to Ben. Ben admits that Jessica did use Mary J. He was interviewed, but they had no evidence linking him to the crime. He has since deceased. One thing is for certain, if you look for anything that had changed in Jessica's life, she started hanging out with someone new. 27-year-old Quinn Tellis that lived only 1 mile down the road. A man from Cortland that grew up just like any of the other kids in the neighborhood, just running around, playing, wrestling. Quint was the baby. He enjoyed playing football and going to the beach and the park with his sisters. He grew up in the church, but just like Jessica, he also decided to drop out of school. She really had a thing for bad boys. He was arrested in 2006 for fleeing from a police officer. Again in 2009 for larceny and burglary. Again in 2009 for possession of marijuana. 2010 DUI. 2011 burglary, and this time he was believed to join the VLs in prison. Reports showed that he was not an abiding inmate, allegedly known for breaking the rules or having contraband. However, on October of 2014, he is released from prison, reportedly meeting Jessica in November of 2014, about 2 weeks before her murder. Quinn Tellis was interviewed early on after multiple witnesses confirmed he was with her on the day that she died. Throughout the investigation of Jessica Chambers' murder, Quinn was questioned 5 times. He was adamant he last saw Jessica at 11 a.m. that morning. He explained what he did that day. He was interviewed again 3 weeks later, but he gave an alibi for 30 minutes after the fire. Despite not knowing what time the fire even occurred, this case almost sparked a race war as the tensions heated up on finding her killer. Jessica was known to deal with a lot of people in gangs or organizations. December the 5th, 2015, 17 arrests occurred as part of Operation Bite Back, a sting operation that began with records obtained from Jessica Chambers' phone. During her murder investigation, she had contact information for numerous dealers and gang members to the area. All of this ripped small-town Cortland right down the middle, from families to the citizens themselves. The night that Jessica died, Quinn's phone pinged at the exact same place as Jessica's. There was a mixture of DNA found on Jessica's keys, but did they have Quinn's DNA on them? Quinn's arraignment was set for July 15, 2016 at DeSoto County Courthouse in Hernando, Mississippi, where he pled not guilty. According to Quinn's sister, he passed the lie detector test. October 9, 2017, trial was set for Quinn Tellis. What's up, y'all? If I haven't introduced myself yet, I'm Sean J. I really appreciate you staying to the end of this video. This is a part 1 of a 3-part series, so I really hope that you can tune in next week and check out part 2. Over 10 years has went by and they're no closer to finding a suspect than they were on day 1. I need for everybody to share this post and keep Jessica's story alive. Justice for Jessica Chambers, and it can't come soon enough.
On average, 40% of murders in the U.S. go unsolved. Once a case becomes cold, it is treated as a non-priority. The families that are left without justice need answers. Their cases deserve your undivided attention. Tune in next time and help me ensure what's done in the dark will always come to the light.